New senior girls coach Matthew Post comes from one of the top girls basketball programs in the state and believes the discipline and toughness instilled from early morning workouts will have the Lady Yellow Jackets on pace for a successful season. Senior boys coach Cole Gardner returns with several players from last year's state tournament team who look to continue the program's recent history of exciting and game-winning basketball. Join us for tonight's live basketball broadcast, brought to you by First Security Bank, Justin's Collision Repair and Towing, Conway Regional Medical Center, Joe Lee Chevrolet, The River Insurance Company, Blagg Law Firm, F.L. Davis Ace, Cowboy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Ozark Health Medical Center, Grassroots Equipment Company, and the player of the game brought to you by First Arkansas Bank and Trust, and all the fine Yellow Jacket boosters. Facebook and YouTube video coverage is brought to you by Cowboy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and First Arkansas Bank and Trust. Your announcers for tonight's game: KHPQ Sports Director Jeff Hall and announcer Mike Hawley. Get ready for Yellow Jacket basketball action on KHPQ.
I'm Jeff Hall. My colleague is down on the floor at the public address booth. I hope you can tune in to the video feed right now. The game is not ready to start, but we were having the recognition ceremony for the 1983-1984 Clinton Yellow Jacket Senior Boys basketball team. Now, if you're watching on the KHPQ Sports YouTube channel or the KHPQ Facebook page, right now Ryan Jones, Hugh Moran, at the cameras going, you're looking at the back of the players. Too bad we don't have you a shot from the front. Maybe they'll turn around. You can see some of those guys. They don't look too much different. Some of those guys you've seen around Clinton, some came in from a distance away, but they are being recognized. We've said it before on the radio during our 14-year broadcast career. You want to go back to the last really good senior boys basketball team, at least the ones the younger generation might remember. That's this 83-84 team and how special they were and what a special season that was. Let me read you just a little bit about that, how, many folks would consider that 84 team the most talented in school history. Now, that 19, was it, 55 team that won a state championship? They were recognized maybe a couple of years ago. They might have a little argument about that to say that. That may have been Roy Dean Dempsey's team went on that, but they took on a state championship there. This team came up just short, making it to the Final Four. But let me tell you what they did do. They won their first 22 games of the season, off to a start. If I remember correctly, I think it was the Yellville Summit Panthers knocked off the Yellow Jackets, and then I think Clinton came back and beat Yellville in the second conference game between those two. And I think I remember the signs there in Walker Gymnasium and leading up to that game, and how I want to say how loud those games were back then in Walker. But 22 wins to start the season. They had their first win over the Greenbrier Panthers in 5 years. Greenbrier was a nemesis back then, a conference opponent. Now they're a Class 5A school. Clinton's a 3A school. They've outgrown us just a bit. But some of those Greenbrier teams, Coach Tommy Reed, he's here tonight to coach some of those teams. Steve Weedor, one of the top players who went on to play college basketball and now in coaching as well, beat Greenbrier. Had a win over Heber Springs with 3 players in double digits in points and rebounds in the same game. Scott Willock had 20 points, 14 rebounds that night. Mickey Parrish, 17 points, 14 rebounds. Kyle Hensley, 14 points, 13 rebounds. Kind of a big three that season and that particular night. They won the University of Central Arkansas tournament. That was a regular, let's see if that was during the Christmas break time of year. Maybe even having a couple divisions, maybe a big school, small school. I'm trying to remember, but Clinton won the UCA tournament. They won the Shirley Invitational Tournament. They were the conference champions of the 5AA North, the 2A school back then, a record of 13-1 in that. I think, like I said, lost to Yellville, came back and beat them in the second matchup. And some other highlights from that, they beat Ball Knob 80-59 in team. They had some things there, looking at some players scoring. Like Kyle Henson with 25, Jamie Beavers with 16, Willock with 16, Mickey Parrish with 12. They won the regional tournament. Back then, you go through your district tournament, then you'd advance to a region. You could get through that, you'd go on to state. Well, at the regional tournament, they defeated the number 2 ranked team. It's in 2A Pulaski Robinson, 75-54. 3 players with 20-plus points in that game, Mickey Parrish, Kyle Hensley, Scott Willock. and all 5 starters were named to the all-regional team. They don't do that anymore, announce all-region picks at the end. I remember that was a big deal going to watch those ball games. You know, you'd have a regional tournament to last that week or the last half of a week, and you'd wait for that last night, and you'd see who had been picked to be on the all-region team. And how about if you put all 5 of your starters on that team? That's how impressive and how good that team was. Now, impressive they were, you know, at that level when you're at the regional tournament just before the state tournament. Well, they went on to the 2A state where they defeated Earl 72-58. Mickey Parrish had 31 points in that ball game. Scott Willock had 20. And then the season finally came to an end, not until they had made the Final Four in the 2A state tournament. That was when they lost to Hamburg 55-46. Season-ending record was 30 wins, only 2 losses. They were ranked as high as number 3 in the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, I believe, the statewide newspaper back then. There were 21 times when Kyle Hensley, Mickey Parrish, and Scott Willock scored in double figures in the same game. 6 players went on to play college basketball from that squad. And that includes, let's name some of them, and their head coach back then, Andy Vining. That was his first season at Clinton. He was hired in August, went on to coach many more years, teach. He had a stint as superintendent here not too many years ago at Clinton High School. Chad Campbell was a manager on that team. Chad has since passed away. His mother's Betty Campbell. You folks know Betty from around, and Chad was the manager. Players on that team included 10th graders, the sophomores, Charlie McNew, Mark Harness, Steve Sisko. Had a good chance to just visit with Steve up here in the hospitality room. He came down from Fayetteville, he and his wife, and I said, well, I still see your parents around town, and sometimes I'll see them on a Sunday or out at lunch or in a restaurant and stuff. And so he's been in Northwest Arkansas for 35 years now. I said, well, you've lived there longer than you've lived here. He said, that's right, but good to see Steve. Also down there is a 10th grader, Brett Williams. Brett, if he still does, I don't know, I think he had a long career with UPS and a driver there, and so you folks may have seen Brett through the years do that. Eric Watson, another sophomore player on that team, and Kenny Willock for the Yellow Jackets. That's big Kenny. You know, folks know his parents, Kenny and Debbie Willock, in town. But Big Ken going, what was he's 6'6", and so he was the tallest guy around back in those years, in that time period. And he was a member of that team. Some juniors from that team, 11th graders, that included Joe Shell. Joe and his parents, they were the pastor at the Baptist church in the town, Frank Shell, his mother Carolyn Shell. Joe was here as 11th grader. I think he's over in Batesville now and lives there. And one of the things he does, I think he owns the movie theater there in town. They've renovated that, remodeled over in Batesville. So if you ever want to go enjoy a movie there, do that. And you're looking as the players are walking off the floor to a standing ovation from the crowd here at Yellow Jacket Arena. Also some guys, Steve Priest was a junior on that team. Lance Duncan, son of Jimmy Duncan, that's since passed away, but covered a lot of Yellow Jacket sports from the newspaper and maybe even sometimes on the radio. Lance, Travis Cutright on that team. Travis is in. I think Travis, he may have come from Arizona. I got to say hi to him tonight a little bit, and he still looks like he could play basketball, football, anything he wanted to. Travis, he's still in an athletic shape. They were joking with him. I think Richard McCormick, the mayor, he was on that team the year before he graduated. I think his words to Travis as they headed down to the floor was, hey, don't foul out. So Travis may have been known as the one who would get after you physical and pick up some fouls in a ball game back in that time. But it's good to see him tonight. He was an all-district football player. And then those 5 that we talked about, starters on that team, Randy Treese. He was only a sophomore. I got to play with Randy a couple of years in my basketball career there at the high school level. He was all-region. He had a half-court buzzer beater in the district championship game versus Ball Knob. Randy was here tonight. Junior on that squad, Scott Willock. He was all-district, all-region, all-state. 18 points in the regional finals, 20 points in the state tournament versus Earl. Went on to play Texas Tech University. He was known for his dunks. You say that. Got to play 1 year with him in high school basketball. Got to guard him in times, and of course, that wasn't much. Scott goes, what is he, 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'5" in that, and here I was at 5'9", and I'd try to keep up with him somewhat, just speed-wise or quickness-wise, but he was as smooth a player as you'd ever encounter that with the basketball and getting to the basket. He was a forward who could take it there, and he was the guy who could put on some highlights and look like that college player, and went on to play Division I basketball for Texas Tech. And how about Jamie Beavers? One of those 3 seniors on the squad on that starting lineup. It's Dr. Jamie Beavers now, the dentist here in town. He was all-region, had 16 points in the district championship game. He went on to play basketball at the University of Central Arkansas in Conway. Jamie Beavers just steady and smooth on that team. Kind of played on the outside, and how fun was that? And that's Dr. Beavers. So when you go by, tell him that you learned, I don't know if you didn't already, you learned something new, and good to see him out there tonight. And a couple more senior stars on that team. Kyle Hensley, also Dr. Kyle Hensley, one of our other dentists in town as well. Kyle was all-district, all-region. He was the regional tournament most valuable player. He was all-state. He played in the all-star game. Had 26 points in a game versus Bologna, 27 against Nemo Vista. He had a last-second shot for the Yellow Jackets to win 63-62 in that. He hit 37 of 38 free throws in an 8-game stretch. He went on to play college basketball at Ouachita Baptist University, where he was an all-conference Arkansas Intercollegiate Conference player at Ouachita Baptist University for, that'd be longtime Coach Bill Vining, one of the Hall of Fame type coaches in Arkansas basketball. Kyle played there. Kyle was that player, you remember, at that level, who was the pure shooter, the jump shooter, who could go up, who could elevate, who had the perfect form, could shoot from the outside. Now, too bad that they didn't have the three-point line back in 83-84. I think the first season the three-point line came into play was the year after I graduated in the spring of 87. So I think that would have been the Arkansas high school basketball season of fall 87 going into spring 88. So I don't know exactly where Kyle Hensley liked to set up back in the day, but I kind of want to remember I saw him on the wing there and elevate and get up with that perfect form. A very good shooter, and as we talked about, made 37 of 38 free throws in an 8-game stretch. That's pretty good at any level, high school, college, or the pros, but probably especially good in high school to do that. So good to see him go on to play a college basketball. Enjoyed that. And then finally, Mickey Parrish. Mickey Parrish of Farm Bureau. He's your county agent here, and that at least runs the Farm Bureau Insurance Company. His crew's here tonight. They're helping feed all those guys who came in the hospitality room in there. He was all-district. He was all-region. He was all-state. He had 27 points in the finals of the UCA tournament. He had 26 points in a regional final. He had 13 of 13 free throws in the first half of that game. He had 31 points in the state tournament game versus Earl. Played college basketball at the University of Central Arkansas, where he was all-conference in the Arkansas Intercollegiate Conference. That's pretty heady stuff when you think about he and Kyle Hensley were both all-conference players at those two schools at that time, and because even though you think maybe it's not Division I or it's not the University of Arkansas or something like that, you know, it's a step up in play, and only the best basketball players from the high schools around the state, the better ones, go on to play at the college level. And Mickey Parrish and Kyle Hensley continued their success there, such that they were all conference players pulled in those colleges from around the state. Mickey Parrish, I think one of the jokes going around is, you know, who he got to play with when he was at the University of Central Arkansas. I think I remember going to at least one basketball game during those years to see him play. His college teammate was a guy by the name of Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen has gone on to be, I can't remember, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but was he named one of the, how many 50 greatest basketball players in the history of the National Basketball Association? He's got this great story of how he was a high school manager or something in 10th grade, grew a lot, and then went on to play college basketball at UCA and continued to just get better and better and better. And, you know, the end of the story, he ended up playing for the Chicago Bulls and the dynasty of 6 professional basketball championships with a guy named Michael Jordan, and one of the greatest runs and the greatest teams in the history of basketball, Scottie Pippen. And so I think one of the jokes is Mickey Parrish, he taught Scottie Pippen everything he knows in college back at UCA. And that may be true because I don't know if you got a Roku device or something where you can watch ESPN, their network, their 30 for 30 specials. That they've kind of got a catalog of these sports story shorts that they've done with all kinds of subjects they've done through the years. They did a special. Was it last year? They produced a special with Michael Jordan, and it was highly watched, anticipated, and I think they released a new one each week for like 7 weeks or something like that. I don't know. I watched maybe one, maybe a little bit of another. I haven't watched the whole thing. I think they're archived on the ESPN channel, on their streaming channel, if you can get that, like I said, through Roku or something else. But I think I remember I'm told or I've read or something that there is a video clip in one of those. It must have been Scottie Pippen playing at UCA or something where it mentions Mickey Parrish in that. So from Michael Jordan to Scottie Pippen to Mickey Parrish, that's only a degree or a couple degrees of separation there between those guys. And what a success that Mickey Parrish has had, not only in his college basketball career, but then what he's done in his hometown and with the insurance business there. And always good to see him around, too. So tell him congratulations, and you enjoyed seeing him out tonight. Well, that's the 1983-84 basketball team. How much fun they were, and traveling around, get to see them. I think I went to see those state tournament games, maybe with Earl or Hamburg or one or both of them in that. Maybe we can get one of those guys to tell us a little bit of a story. Hey, come here, in case I lose you later. Tell me just a minute. We still got some time. The boys are out warming up. We're not going to start the senior boys game for a little bit. Uh-oh. Well, they're going to do the guys are going to come out. They still got 10 minutes to play.
Looks like you got a plate of food there to finish, too.
That's right. Let me I should have had you up here early. I did I told the story a while ago when they were walking down the court. I was talking about Tim Cartwright. I said, he looks like the most athletic. I think he could probably still play basketball, football, baseball, whatever he wants to. He looks in good shape.
Tim was the baby. Travis. Yeah. No, he's unreal. He still looks it today. Twice as fast as anyone else. Unbelievable. Baseball, needed a stolen base. Great guy, too. Great guy.
Now, the comment that you made, Mayor Richard McCormick, as he was walking down the stairs was, don't foul out. So,
I should have told that to Mickey Parrish. He was the only person ever to get a foul that I saw on a jump ball. And he fouled out in the first quarter in junior high in Mountain View. And Ted Bullock, I said, he's got 4. He said, well, what do you do now? You might as well leave him in there. So, yeah.
Well, tell me, we got a few minutes. You were on this team a year before.
Yeah.
You were a senior. You graduated. You guys were pretty good as well, and you were a big role in that team through those years there for those guys. In the minutes we've got, tell us about this team, your time with them. What you'd like people to know?
Well, I had so many assists, it's unreal, because look who you had to throw the ball to. You had 4 hosses. Jamie Beaver's just consistent, over there. Least known of the 4, but just solid, never gave up. Mickey Parrish, what can you say about him? Biggest heart of any person I've ever known. If you needed a steal, you needed the ball, Mickey got it. Never quit. Scott Willock, most talented, went to Texas Tech, a dunking machine, dunking it in the 9th grade, and a Willock, just not just talented, but basketball smart. Kyle Hensley, best player ever played with. If you really needed the shot, they threw it to Kyle Hensley.
He might have been the shooter before Arkansas. I thought of Pat Bradley.
Well, I think the other day he was getting after his boys, like, you need to make 5 in a row to leave. And, well, you try it, Dad. And da-da-da-da-da-da. He led the AIC and that. They had some players in the AIC when they played, with Pippen and that crew and all
How
the
about those? I read off some of their bio and things about them, and both Kyle and Mickey, they were all conference in the Arkansas Intercollegiate Conference, that's the best players from high schools around the state go on to play college basketball.
And Wendell Hunt and some of these things people don't know, but they do know Scottie Pippen and those
we talked about
unbelievable. Two players that were just people don't realize how good they really were, and just good people too. That was a great bunch. And the year I left, Randy Treese comes up as a 10th grader, and man, never missed a step. He ran the offense, and he was a threat, and they were hard to handle. They were just hard to handle, and it was a great team and had a deep bench. And like I say, Kyle Hensley, when the Hamburg put him out of the state tournament, I think he had like 103 temperature.
That's what I couldn't remember all the details of the story. There was some sickness involved going into that.
Totally, yeah. Kyle was sick, and Mickey, I remember watching Mickey in that game. Mickey would just, like I said, had the heart of a.
I think he had 31 points.
Well, I remember him getting it and dribbling it through everybody.
Well, it was Earl, not
laying
Hamburg.
Up, Earl. But even against Hamburg, and then he'd just hold his fist up, not to show out, but it's like, hey, I ain't dead. And they were just a great team and great guys, and had some great coaches. And Ted Willock just incredible basketball mind. And when he moved here, they opened up a gym. A lot of people, that first year he had Chris Johnson, Stanley Mathis, Tracy Ward, Jim Bob Bramlett, and Bobby Crockett, the biggest no-name Clinton team of all time that was incredible. Bobby Crockett is a point guard, one of the best point guards ever at Clinton, in my opinion. D.L. Webb run around here pretty solid, too. But that was an unbelievable team, too. But Ted Willock, when he moved to Clinton, he opened the gym up. And you can see what happened. Those guys out there, they could still go today. I mean, and you see Tommy Reed running around here.
Yeah.
He was
we Greenbrier mentioned him earlier back that time.
He had Steve Weedor, and he was unbelievable. But that year, Kyle and Mickey was a senior. They finally caught up to him.
First time they beat him in 5 years.
Yeah,
Greenbrier.
I never beat them. We somehow beat them in baseball, but that don't count. I mean, they could go in basketball. And a guy named David Keelan runs around here. People over, guys from the county. We never beat him except his senior year, and Kyle and Mickey and Scott Willock had already held him to 36 points. I've told that story a lot. So, but there was another player from Van Buren County. But been some good ones, Been some good ones.
And there is, we've got to honor the team from the 50s. I don't remember if it was 56 or what that won a state championship. We got to honor them a couple years ago. Roy Dean Dempsey and some of those guys. And when you do look back at the history of Van Buren County, whether it's Clinton or whether it's you go out to Formosa or something, there's been some really good basketball talent. Probably since the 50s at least, and a lot of good stories and names you could tell,
Yeah, Willie Williams out there. Yeah, there was just unbelievable. Thomas Massey from Scotland. I mean, I'm going way back. I just heard about these guys. But even the guys after Kyle and Mickey and Scott, those guys coming off the bench and stuff, Ken Willock and Steve Cisco. I was talking to him. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah, I saw Steve.
I remember North Arkansas Funeral Home had a basketball goal, and Steve was always out there shooting the ball. But they loved the game, and they were just good people, too. Steve Priest, all of them. Like I say, you still look at Travis. I was talking to him like, man, I wouldn't want to play him in anything right now. We need to get him back here. Man, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate the guys for doing this. This reunion is good stuff, man. It really is.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mayor Richard McCormick. That's a fun night, and hopefully we can go cheer on this current bunch of Yellow Jacks. We do talk, and occasionally it comes into our broadcast. We'll tell you, you want to go back to the last really, really good boys team at Clinton. This was the team. So thankfully tonight, I hope they're watching and they got to see them. If they weren't around in those days, they set a standard that it takes years to get there. Those don't come along.
No, they won't, but they'll come back. And I tell John Hargis all the time, I like watching that. Little Hargis, Alexander, like watching these guys. But I think the real key was you had a guy that said, let's open the gym, leave it open. All those guys stayed out of trouble, and they're just really good people. Like I say, and it's good to see Scott. I get to see him every once in a while, but that dude was jumping out of the gym when he was 14 years old. But I'm going to go visit with him. And, I think Jay Chalk doing a good job up there.
Thanks, Richard. Enjoy the night.
Go Jackets.
Hey, let's take a break. Back to the station. When we return, we'll be close to the tip-off. Stay with us. You're listening to KHPQ in Clinton High School Sports.
The all-new Cowboy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Clinton is gearing up for football season. Yep, we've got a huge lineup of Rams that are sure to fit all of your tailgating needs. So put on that lucky jersey and score huge savings during the summer clearance event. Can't wait to see you at the all-new Cowboy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Clinton and at cowboycdjr.com.
Strong, dependable, ready for anything. The Clinton Yellow Jackets know what it takes to make a great team, and Grassroots Equipment is proud to support them. Take on the season with Massey Ferguson compact and utility tractors. They mow, load, handle hay, and more, all while delivering more of the power and versatility you've come to expect from Massey Ferguson. Experience the compact and utility tractors that will take you through the season strong at Grassroots Equipment.
Friday night at the stadium is not the time to worry about your finances. Let First Arkansas Bank and Trust ease your mind with their mobile banking capabilities. You can check your balance, transfer funds between accounts, and even find the nearest ATM for dinner after a road game. The free mobile app is available on the iTunes Store and Android Market. You can cheer loud and proud for the Yellow Jackets because First Arkansas Bank and Trust has you covered. See a branch for more details. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
FL Davis Cash Lumber, your Ace Hardware store, is a proud sponsor of Clinton Yellow Jacket Sports. FL Davis Cash Lumber can help with your electrical, plumbing, paint, tools, hardware, and flooring needs. They're a full-service hardware store and lumber yard. FL Davis can provide you with everything you need for your residential or commercial projects. The knowledgeable staff is always on hand to answer your questions. Visit FL Davis Cash Lumber, your Ace Hardware store. Same place, now Ace.
And we're back here at Yellow Jacket Arena. The music playing. The teams have finished up their pregame warm-up. They've headed to their respective benches. I think maybe we'll have the national anthem and our introduction of the starting lineup. Mike Holly's been, as I said earlier, down at the public address booth as part of the 83-84 recognition service. Those things I kind of got to read off of you. Mike's compiled that through some research, through some history. He even pulled out an 84 yearbook that I had to get some information on that. And so
that was the easiest one I got. Didn't have to travel for that one.
That's right.
But a great time. Guys got here around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Mickey Parrish and Susan catered them a great meal in there. Mickey's barbecue is incredible. And the guys are still here visiting. I think we had, 9 or 10 of the 15 able to be here tonight. A couple have had to cancel out in the last day or two. One tested positive for COVID, and then one has a granddaughter imminently fixing to be born, so he couldn't make it tonight. But a great turnout. Coach Vining had to pass at about 4 o'clock today. He could not make it. But it was a great turnout. One thing I've learned doing research and things, people love to talk about their sports days. So it's those guys are really telling some stories back there and having a good time. Well, we got a basketball game, and there's a lot riding on this one. The Yellow Jackets are now tied for first, a three-way tie for first with 4 games to play. After that loss last night to Harding Academy, Jackets come in tonight with a record of 14-5. They're 9-4 in conference play. Last night the Jackets lost 62-44 to Harding Academy. Harrison Hall, the only player in double figures for the Yellow Jackets. He had 15. Jackets lost by 18 last night. Jasper Burgess scored 19 the last time those two teams played. So you just wonder what if. First time these two teams played was back on December the 18th. Back in 2020. That was the last game before Christmas. And that's the game, if you remember, the Yellow Jackets scored 17 points through 3 quarters of play and then scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. And Zach Alexander hit a baseline jumper with 5 seconds left to give Clinton a 41-39 lead and the win. That was their only lead of the ball game at 41-39 in the final 5 seconds. Harrison Hall had 16. Jasper Burgess had 14 that night. Riverview was led by Robert McCall with 10, and Caleb Giles had 9. Riverview comes in a record of 7 wins, 10 losses. They're 4-8 in conference play. They're in 7th place. They have lost 9 of their last 12 ball games and 3 of their last 4. But on Tuesday night, they beat Rosebud by a score of 41-25. So even by losing 9 of their last 12, they do come in on a high note by beating Rosebud on Tuesday 41-25, and we are underway.
It'll be the Yellow Jacket basketball. The tip controlled by Nathan Farmer to Lathan Newland. Work it around. Lathan's behind the three-point line along with Harrison Hall, Russ Hensley, Farmer, and Zach Alexander. They're your starting 5. Again, Jasper Burgess, leading scorer for Clinton on the season. His season has come to an end, suffering that knee injury just a couple of weeks ago, and he'll be watching from the sideline, cheering on his teammates. The Yellow Jackets have played 2 games since that occurred. They had a win on Monday night versus Penguin. They had a loss last night against Hardin Academy. Russ Hensley for 3. It's up and in. Well, Russ got things going up last night in the first quarter with 2 two-point field goals. Tonight he opens the game with a 3. That's the first points scored in an early Yellow Jacket lead.
And Jackets out of that 1-3-1 zone, try to trap at the top, maybe try to speed up the tempo. Riverview don't score a whole lot of points either. Talking to their coach, T.J. Coleman, before the game, he said this may be a low-scoring affair because we're not scoring a whole lot either right now.
And I thought of that in preparation for tonight's game. You talked about that game at Riverview that we had, and then the word I thought that win was one of the most improbable we've ever seen. You just could not have figured out a way that game would have been any different in the fourth quarter than it was the first three, and you just didn't see a way that Yellow Jackets could end up winning that ball game. They did. Maybe we can talk about that as the night goes on. Shot and a miss and another defensive rebound by Nathan Farmer. It's his first of tonight, but that's a reoccurring thing for Farmer when he's on the ball game, getting those defensive rebounds. One thing I thought about Riverview after that ball game, again, good defense. They've got some athleticism. They kept the Yellow Jackets from scoring until the fourth quarter. Now, Riverview they're not as good a scoring team either. I think it's just you said that. I thought about that after the game. They are athletic, and they can move the ball around, but they may not be the best offensive team, but they played good defense, and we'll see how it plays out tonight. Zach Alexander with 2 off the board in the lane, and an early 5-point lead.
A good ball movement by Clinton against that zone to get the shot. Now, good defensive pressure forces Riverview into a timeout.
Let's keep it here for the moment. Well, coming off, you've seen 2 games this week, a win versus Payment, a loss last night against Hardin Academy. We talked about after that game, Hardin Academy played fantastic in every facet of the ball game. Free throw shooting, offense, defense. Is tonight a new game? Hardin Academy's behind you, or what do you expect, or what do you look differently than from the loss last night?
You said Hardin Academy almost played flawless last night, shot almost 60% from the field and 14 out of 14 at the free throw line, and of course they played good fundamental defense. They were pretty flawless. Good thing we have a lot of seniors. You talk about relief pitchers in baseball. They have to forget the last game and go on to the next one. We got some seniors tonight. They can kind of shake that off last night and come back tonight and play. Probably a good thing that they had to come back and play tonight instead of having to think about that game for several days. And the secret weapon might have been Coach Cole Gardner took the 1984 basketball team into the locker room before the game, and that's why there was about a 10-minute delay before this one tipped off. Riverview was already on the floor for about 10 minutes.
Raiders into the lane. Right, left, gets the shot off. It won't go. Loose on the floor. Picked up by Riverview. They're dressed in black tonight, trimmed in white. Yellow Jackets in the home white, trimmed in black. A little bit of gold.
Yeah, McCall, number 33, is running the baseline. He was their leading scorer that night at Riverview until, if you remember, he picked up 2 technical fouls early in the fourth quarter, and that started the Yellow Jacket run in that game as Harrison Hall hit 4 straight free throws, and the Jackets came back from 14 down to win.
Well, a turnover, and Clinton back with the basketball and a 5-point lead. Harrison Hall, left, pull back, 3-point basket, good. He had what? Did he have 3 in the first half last night? 11 points total. He gets his first tonight here early at the 5:30 mark, and Clinton's on an 8-0 run to start the ball game. Drive the lane. Farmer defending, but a little high arch on that will drop in, and that's the first 2 points of the night. That'll go
Tyler Rayson.
8-2 the score. Lathan Newland, I think, also had a couple of 3-pointers. Was that last night?
Looks like Riverview's gone to a little bit of man-to-man after the Yellow Jackets scored 8 straight against that zone. They played good defense that night at Riverview back in December.
Zach Alexander, pretty play as he drove left, spun right. Off the rim, it won't go, and then there's a foul on the rebound attempt, and let's see if that goes against... That'll go against Farmer, his first, the team's first.
We didn't see a lot of pressing last night. The Yellow Jackets, the depth a little shy, but I think they decided they need to play at a little bit faster pace than what we saw last night to help our offense out a little bit.
Drive, Farmer blocks a shot, and he'll tie it up in the air. As the ball comes down, it'll be basketball to Riverview on the alternating possession. I think you talked about that last night, kind of that half-court game by both teams. The game kind of slowed down. Points kind of hard to come by. Hardin Academy shot well, and Nathan Farmer blocks the shot out onto the floor, and Lathan Newland trying to catch up with it. He goes to the floor, and Riverview recovers. Thought he might have got tripped up there. Looked like he did from our vantage point, but they'll play on, and Riverview 2 points on the offensive in 8-4. Just to finish that thought, kind of a half-court game. Fourth quarter looked like defense a little bit more aggressive, kind of pushed the ball a couple of times. Clinton had a little bit of run in the fourth, and you thought, hey, they may get back in it here. For Hardin Academy shut the door on them, but kind of speeding it up kind of helped last night. Maybe some thoughts here early.
Yeah, try to speed the game up, try to help our offense out. So, oh, my goodness. They got airborne, and I'm sure you got that dribble down in time or not, but no call by the official.
And Lathan Newland, as always, he is everywhere defensively. He will come from the side, come from behind. He'll try to knock that ball away from you. Last night he did foul out of the ball game, fourth quarter of that one, but he is always on go. 8-4, 3.5 minutes remaining, first quarter. Open three from the right side, off the rim, won't go, and tipped into the hands of Lathan Newland. Cross midcourt. Looks like still man-to-man, I believe. Well, let me see.
Yeah, they're man-to-man.
They're kind of helping in the lane. But Russ Hensley's going to drive, get in the air, and he's fouled. So Russ Hensley to the free throw line. Russ,
I think we're seeing
son of
Russ.
Kyle Hensley and Dare Hensley. From reading things out to the folks, what Kyle Hensley had a stretch in his high school senior season. He made 37 of 38 free throws over 8 games. I was telling folks, that's pretty good, whether you're high school, college, or at the professional level. That's really good for high school.
Yeah.
37 of 38. He had the form. He was the shooter that time.
They used to call Tim Duncan the big fundamental. Kyle Hensley was the fundamental.
The jump shooter. Russ Hensley, gets both free throws. It's 10-4.
I was going to say, Russ playing more now, knowing he has to play more with Jasper out. He's much more confident. We've seen him the last 2 games now drive to the basket from the perimeter. We didn't even see that in junior high.
You know, Russ, he's the third of that bloodline. We've already seen his older sister Allie Hensley come through Clinton, an all-state basketball player in track. Now she's a track athlete at Arkansas State University in Jonesboro. Then we've seen Hensley number 2. That'd be Kyler Hensley. He's over at Harding University. Hey, buddy. See ya. Yeah. Good to visit. We've been talking about you.
Yep.
Travis Cutright's here with us. Well, I got to see Travis a couple of times through the years. He's come back to visit. Been out in Arizona, right? And we're talking about all those guys. Shot up by Lathan Newland. 3-point basket. Good. 13-6. Travis is the one. He looks like he could suit up tonight. He can play basketball, football, baseball, anything. And Mayor Richard McCormick said the same thing. So you could. Well,
we need you here back in August.
That's right.
Yep.
Good to see you, Travis. Thanks. Travis Cutright from that 83-84 team that was recognized tonight.
Yeah, Travis was all-district, all-state in football that year. Went to Glendale Junior College in Arizona where he was an All-American, and they played in the Junior College National Championship game and won it one year while he was at Glendale Junior College.
Into the lane, shot up won't go. Farmer gets a chance. His shot won't go, and then Zach Alexander, his putback. Zach is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. Minute 28 in the first quarter, 13-8, Yellow Jackets lead.
Good to see Zach get on the board early tonight. He had a tough defender on him last night in Ty Duggar. It was a battle all night long between those two. Zach already with 3 points already tonight here in the first quarter. Got the live stream up and running tonight so far. Hoping Zach's Uncle John is watching up in Pennsylvania.
And we did talk. There's some more probably internet issues. Again, there were some problems a little bit last night with the broadcast. I know I was visiting the hospitality room with Angela McKinney in there. I think y'all had a little post-game conference after that. And hopefully, hopefully things will go good tonight, or if not, maybe we can get things going by the
consultation with Sean Hastings.
We need some school's help. It's not the equipment necessarily. We got a little trouble in the transmission.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get all that worked out here as we enter the final week of the season and postseason play. Hey, we're going to host the 3A state tournament here at Yellow Jacket Arena. Hopefully we're there broadcasting Clinton ball games, but I bet there's going to be some other schools maybe here as well. So folks hopefully be able to watch that and get a good connection. Ball out of bounds. Keep it with Riverview.
Good on the ball defense there by Lathan Newland. Almost got the 5-second count. It's Riverview trying to kind of run the clock down. Jackets up 14-8 here in the first quarter.
45 seconds.
Jackets in the zone. We saw some man-to-man for one quarter last night, but predominantly zone defense now for the Yellow Jackets. Newland's getting the count started there.
Going to drive the lane, shot up to get up in the air, and a foul is going to be called. Let's see if that goes against Farmer.
If it is, it'll be a second.
And that's the call. So 2 fouls here in the first quarter. for Nathan Farmer, the postman for the Yellow Jackets. It looks like Blaine Emberton will enter the ball game. We'll see if Nathan will sit out it.
Well, Blaine had a good game last night coming off the bench. He gave the Yellow Jackets a little bit of a lift. A couple of baskets, got his hands on the ball a couple times on defense. And going to do anything down the stretch here. We're going to need some contribution from guys like Blaine Emberton.
He's a senior as well, so there's four seniors on the floor. Nathan Farmer was a senior. Russ Hensley, the only underclassman of the group, at the sophomore. Blaine Emberton, sometimes you heard his name a lot from the football field for head coach Chris Dufran and the football squad, but he's going to be counted on here late in this basketball season. Get some time. We're going to wind down the final 10 seconds. Alexander behind a screen, keeps his dribble, tries to drive back out to Emberton for a three-pointer. It's up just short off the front of the rim. And didn't look like much contact. Zach Alexander was kind of coming around a Raider for a rebound, but he's whistled for a foul, the official right there. Team's third. 3 seconds to go in the first quarter. Inbound the ball. Long pass down the floor, and they won't get the shot off in time. That'll do it. The first quarter comes to an end. Clinton led the entirety of the quarter. It's 14-10 after one. You're listening to KHPQ in Clinton High School Sports.
Wherever the river flows and however the game goes, the River Company is a proud sponsor of Clinton Yellow Jacket Sports. Just like in sports, you want someone who has your back. The professional team at the River Company Insurance does just that. They'll work hard to find you the most coverage at the best possible price. Whether it's business, farm, ranch, personal, or automotive, the team at the River Company will get you exactly what you need. Sports is a team effort, so come join the team at the River, formerly S&P Insurance.
Tonight's exciting Yellow Jacket basketball action is brought to you in part by these fine Yellow Jacket boosters. By Clinton Stockyards, American Home Pharmacy, Regions Bank of Clinton, by Dr. Miles Hill in the Van Buren County Veterinary Clinic, by Kennedy Abstract, and by Johnny's Automotive. These fine Yellow Jacket boosters bring you tonight's game.
Alexander, Hall, Emberton, Hensley, and Newland for the Yellow Jackets.
Jackets good first quarter, lead 14-10. If you remember at Riverview that night, they only scored 17 points in the first three quarters, so much better start tonight with 14 in the first quarter. Now Riverview's gone to a 1-3-1 zone defense. They're trying to trap up high near midcourt. Jackets have to reset their offense after Riverview opened in a man-to-man that first quarter.
But scoring for Clinton, 4 players to score. Harrison Hall with 3. Russ Hensley with a 3-point field goal, and then 2 free throws, 5 total. Alexander with 3 points. And Lathan Newland gave a 3 as well. So 3 3-point field goals for the Yellow Jackets in the first quarter.
They got a spread out coming from 3 different players here in the first quarter.
Well, we talked about with Jasper Burgess out in his 20-plus points per ball game. Need to pick up some points somewhere. And guys contributing and balanced scoring. That's what we saw against Pangburn in the win on Monday night. And that may be the formula for success in this post-Burgess play here late in the season. Harrison Hall, he's a threat to always getting double figures. He can knock down 3 or 4 3-pointers. Not careful. There's his second 3-point field goal of the night from the right wing. Had a defender in front of him between he and the basket, but Harrison knocks it down 17-10.
Jackets ready to do the same thing on this end, try to trap up high out of a zone defense.
On the drive, Yellow Jackets whistled for a foul. 4th team foul here in the first half. That's the first against Blaine Emberton. Inbound from the baseline. Riverview Raiders. We talked about the Raiders, their school, when we were broadcasting from Searcy, Arkansas, in the first of these teams' meetings here in the season on a consolidated school. They're just they'll work it around. Lathan Newland behind the 3-point line.
Jackets trying to, it looks like a box. Well, let's try to see. They may have switched to man-to-man or they're on some type of jump defense.
And offensive foul,
Harrison
Russ
Hall.
Hensley. He takes the pass, and then as he's kind of making his move to the basket, maybe enough of a duck with his shoulder there into the defender to be whistled for the offensive foul. That's his first, the team's 5th. That's not the offensive foul that was put on Harrison Hall last night. Lathan Newland with a steal. The reverse layup is blocked, but a foul is called, and Lathan Newland to the free throw line. I might have to ask Harrison's parents here, sitting just to our left, how that was last night. When who was it? Was it Duggar? Ty Duggar, had the ball offensively, and Harrison Hall was right behind him between he and the basket. And I don't know if it was as bad as it looked or not. Their back was to us, but when Duggar kind of swung around with his body or his shoulder, his forearm or something, Harrison Hall just landed to the floor.
Flashback to his linebacker days at Harding Academy this year. There was no flop on that play. Harrison got hit hard.
Lathan Newland gets the first free throw to go. Looks like Nathan Farmer's going to come back in the ballgame. Russ Hensley out. So now there's 5 seniors on the floor. And this, you talked about it earlier, the experience with this group. They lost a senior last year to graduation. That was Cragen Bradley, and that was 20-plus points a ball-game average as well.
Cragen's in the house tonight. Wouldn't mind seeing him suit up one more time in that black and gold.
I didn't see, well, they're talking about those guys from the 83-84 team, college basketball at the University of Central Arkansas, included Jamie Beavers and Mickey Parrish, and this goes how many players we've had since that time. We'd have to think for a moment and see if there's been anybody but Cragen Bradley since that time. But Cragen Bradley's a Bear. And matter of fact, Zach Alexander gets the ball down the floor to Newland. One man on his right. He's going to drive and put it up over the front of the rim. He was
off balance, maybe a little body contact, a little finger roll spin into the basket. Great shot by Lathan Newland. Yep. And the ball was going out of bounds over on the far side. It hit the official before it went out of bounds, and Clinton picked it up. The official's part of the floor, so.
And that shot was blocked on the way up. I don't know, it might have been Alexander. The Raiders are going to get back.
Jackets with the biggest lead of the game now at 11. Jackets pretty active in that zone. We hadn't seen any man-to-man yet tonight. That's McCall with the basketball. Good job of defense by the Yellow Jackets. Good series.
4 minutes, 24 seconds. Clock running in the second quarter. Going to drive. Shot blocked by Nathan Farmer into the hands of Blaine Embert. He's going to keep himself down the middle of the floor. Now off to Harrison Hall. Defender in front of him. Cross-court pass. Newland's in the corner. That's a little bit too high. That one's going to go out of bounds. Back to the Raiders.
Another block shot on this end by Nathan Farmer. Remember, Nathan's got 2 fouls, though, so you got to be careful.
He and Zach Alexander. Zach was our first Arkansas Bank and Trust player of the game. I think led the team with 16 points. Farmer came in with 12, and a good night on the defensive end of the floor with block shots and rebounds. And again, when you talk about the loss of a Jasper Burgess, Farmer continues playing well defensively, and then when he can go in double figures as well, that's a big help for the success of this team.
You're going to have to pick up points from other sources and not, try to add those together. We talked early when we still had Jasper, we talked about almost that Nathan Farmer, you could add his and Russ's points together almost as 2 players playing the same position, but now they both have to score individually. Almost a turnover.
Pass inside, but Riverview gets it back, and a jumper in the lane. Makes the score 21-12. Clinton in front.
Still good defense, though. It just happened to be a fortunate bounce to go to Riverview. But that was 2 good possessions of defense by Clinton.
Just under 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. 21-12. Clinton has led since the beginning of this one. It was an 8-0 run to start the ball game. Lane Imprint's going to drive. Look at that. I started to say that wasn't all that pretty, but he drives the baseline hard, gets in the air, kind of looked like it came off his hand awkward, but it goes up in the rim, and Emberton picks up where he left off last night with those 4 offensive points, a couple of field goals. And
that was the old George Gervin finger roll, but anybody out there under the age of 40 probably don't know who George Gervin is, but known as the Iceman. He had that finger roll, and there's another basket again by Caleb Giles. He's got 6.
3.15, 2:40 remaining in the second quarter. Looks like they want to kind of double team, kind of jump trap Alexander. Farmer sets a screen. Zach's going to take it all the way to the basket, off the glass. It won't go. Foul's called. They called that one on the floor. So Clinton will inbound the basketball. It's only the 5th team foul against Riverview here in the first half. Harrison Hall to inbound. Deep out front to Alexander. Quickly into the corner to Emberton. Now back out high.
Jack is trying to maybe flash some cutters into the middle. We're not sure what Riverview's doing. I guess it's a zone defense, but it's may have some. Well, it looks like they look like they're spread out into man-to-man, but it's really soft.
Maybe except on Harrison, or they defender. We'll see how they do next time. Clinton's going to turn it over. So Raider basketball with 2:05 to go in the second.
That or some type of matchup zone where you have a couple 3 players playing the zone and 2 playing man-to-man at the same time.
You know, last night we talked about Tartan Academy. They put their best defender on Zach Alexander. Zach coming off,
16-point game at Pangburn.
Right.
Yep.
So I guess if you're watching, get a chance. And Harrison goes down. And did he get hit by the offensive player with the ball or off a screen? But he goes to the floor hard again. It's a foul on Riverview.
2 nights in a row. He's took a pretty good hit, but he bounces up. He's tough. He's been through a lot over his Clinton career. He always bounces back.
As long as he's okay, he's one of those guys that probably looks for that. He and Lathan Newland, they're going to try to take a charge and play tough on the defensive end. They get the opportunity. So
16 fouls now on Riverview. Yellow Jackets can get to the line on the next one. Only a minute and a half, though, left here in the first half.
I think Harrison, the Raider, talking on the way back down the floor, maybe checking on him and see if everything's okay. And can't say no harm, no foul. There was a no foul, but hopefully it looks like maybe some good sportsmanship. 3-point attempt from the corner is good. So the Raiders with a couple of threes, and they pull within 5 points, 23-18 with just over a minute to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, Jackets were up by 11 just a few minutes ago.
Zach's going to fake, get his defender to go by him, and he's going to drive, get in the air. The shot off, he's fouled, and that'll send the senior Zach Alexander to the free throw line.
Zach's 1 for 2. The team is 5 out of 6 here in the first half. And that'll be 2 fouls on Harley Sewell for Riverview.
Nathan Farmer out. Russ Hensley returns with 47 seconds remaining. And Zach gets the seconds, 24-18. Coach Cole Gardner on his feet now. He'll take a seat. Jace Powers beside him, assistant coach.
Looks like Riverview may be content to go for the last shot of the half unless they get something easy here. They're trying to spread the Yellow Jackets in that kind of a 4 corners offense.
20 seconds on the first half clock. 6-point lead for Clinton. Pass inside in the lane. Shot up, won't go, but a foul's going to be called on Lathan Newland. So
kind of got caught behind the cutter there, running along behind him, and all he could do was foul him and try to stop the basket.
Hey, stay with us at halftime. Who we got? Who we arranged so far to come?
We have the man known for his dunks at Clinton High School. Scott Willock will be here at the half.
Making his way over from Concord. And
of course, the Willock family with a long history in Clinton and Van Buren County. His dad played on the 1953 state championship team.
We'll take a commercial break, then we'll come back. So stay with us for halftime of that. 8 seconds, 24-20. Lathan Newland gets it off to Harrison Hall. Gets by his defender. Pull up at the free throw line. The elbow shot won't go. And that'll do it. The first half has come to an end. Clinton led the way in this one from the beginning, 24-20 here at the halftime break. Quick break. Stay with us. Scott Willock's coming up. You're listening to KHPQ in Clinton High School Sports.
Friday night at the stadium is not the time to worry about your finances. Let First Arkansas Bank and Trust ease your mind with their mobile banking capabilities. You can check your balance, transfer funds between accounts, and even find the nearest ATM for dinner after a road game. The free mobile app is available on the iTunes Store and Android Market. You can cheer loud and proud for the Yellow Jackets because First Arkansas Bank and Trust has you covered. See a branch for more details. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Dr. Reagan Gallagher, a board-certified neurosurgeon with the Conway Regional Neuroscience Center. If you are experiencing pain in your neck, your arms, your back, or your legs, or you have weakness with prolonged standing or walking, we can help you find the cause. At our Neuroscience Center, we have a comprehensive spine clinic to help you take control of these problems. For more information, visit our website at conwayregional.org or call 501-932-0352. You can always talk with your primary care physician about a referral to Conway Regional Neuroscience Center. We look forward to helping you improve the quality of your life.
Towing and recovery is the last thing you think about until you really need it. Then you really want the best. There's only one name to call, Justin's Collision Repair Towing and Recovery. They have the largest and latest model recovery fleet in North Central Arkansas. From small towing to heavy-duty towing, Justin's Collision Repair Towing and Recovery on Highway 65 in Clinton is the one to call, 745-2992. That's Justin's Collision Repair Towing and Recovery, 745-2992.
Tonight's exciting Yellow Jacket basketball action is brought to you in part by these fine Yellow Jacket boosters, by Latitude Bistro, by Dr. Kyle Hensley and his staff, by The Pottery Shop, Arkansas Mountain Real Estate, by Goods Cash Saver, and by PEH Supply. These fine sponsors bring you tonight's basketball game on KHPQ.
Hey, my colleague Jeff Hall, we're back here at Yellow Jacket Arena. The Jackets trying to bounce back from a loss last night to Harding Academy. They lead 24-20 at the half. And this has been a big night at Yellow Jacket Arena as the Booster Club honored the 1984 Clinton Yellow Jackets Final Four basketball team. And we've got one of the main players of that team with us at halftime, Clinton's very own Scott Willock. Scott, great for you to be here tonight.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the invitation. And we've just had a great time getting together and reminiscing and just talking about how it was back then.
You know, one thing I talk to people, I said one thing people always like to talk about is their sports playing days.
Yeah. It's, you know, and I'm speaking just for me, but I know other guys on that team too. We'll be somewhere, and somebody that we played against or somebody from our age and our era, we'll talk about that and that team that they played against or they saw that team play, and it's it just brings back a lot of memories.
I even had Tommy Reed here tonight. He coached against you down at Greenbrier.
Yes, and it was a tremendous coach. Greenbrier had a strong program and great players and a long tradition, and it was always a very tough game. And, you know, we were friends with those guys away from the court, you know, but when it come time to play, it was get after it.
Yeah, give me your thoughts about 84. You had a coaching change before the school season started. Your father coached, I think, 2 years before, and then D. Human, and then Andy. You had 3 coaches in 3 years. Was that?
Yeah.
How's that transition?
Well, I'll tell you, we went to camps during the summer. You know, some of the players, Mickey, Kyle, Jamie, myself, and coaches started kind of talking when they heard that there was a vacancy. You know, that was I'm gonna just be honest with you. We were a coach's dream. We had talent. We stayed in the gym. We had good attitudes. Excuse me. And a lot of coaches wanted that job for obvious reasons.
So you talked about the 84 team. You mentioned Greenbrier. I think I was reading that was a good program. First time they beat Greenbrier in 5 years. I think they were undefeated. It was a packed house. And then you guys did something that the 1953 state champs did. You won the UCA tournament.
Right.
They'd lost in the finals. You guys won it.
It seemed like we played good teams, and we always got the best opposition from those teams. You know, it was obvious that we had a good team, and people got up for that. I think they wanted to try to take a shot at us, and we had 2 or 3 games that year that was pretty close. We beat Southside B Branch by about 4 points, and then we had to hit a last-second shot against Nemo Vista that year.
Yeah, you had a dunk in the last minute to set up that last shot by Kyle Hensley. I was reading about Jimmy Duncan wrote about that.
Yeah, those were good times. Some of those gyms that we played in back then, they don't even play in anymore.
Right. Then you went on and you won the district tournament. That year was held at Greenbrier. You beat Ball and I think you played them 4 times that year. You had a big game that night. You had a big dunk to break it open, and I think Randy Treese hit a half-court shot into the third quarter.
So. It's just we were talking about this tonight. We had so many good players that we were so hard to guard because, 5-on-5, you're either going to double 2 or double 1 or whatever kind of junk defense you're going to run, you're going to give something up. And whoever you were giving up, you weren't guarding or whatever the strategy of that was, there was just no way around it. A lot of times you play somebody and they've got 1 or 2 good players. You can junk them. There may be 1 or 2 you don't have to worry about. But with that team, there were no weaknesses. There were 5 guys that could, wear you out if you tried to mess with that too much.
Yeah, to make that point, I read, I figured it up yesterday, 21 times you, Kyle, and Mickey scored in double figures in the same game. One time with Jamie, 4 of you scored in double figures in the same game. And one time, you, Mickey, and Kyle scored 20-plus in the same game.
Yeah.
So.
I can tell you that. I've had coaches, I coached for 20-something years, and I've had coaches ask me, said, how did y'all all get along? When you got that many good players on the team, a lot of times it doesn't work out. Somebody's got to be the man or whatever. But we were such good, genuine friends that we didn't have jealousies. We didn't have any kind of angst amongst our teams. We all wanted to play at the next level. And we knew that if our team was as good as it would be, it would draw the attention. And the only way it was going to be as good as it could be is for us to all make that work. And we didn't want to let each other down. The bar was high. There was an expectation that we were always going to be at our best. And we held ourselves to the accountability of that. And the team spirit was just so strong. I'm telling you, it was just a coach's dream. You've got all that talent. There were 6 or 7 guys that played college basketball on that team and a couple that played college football. And a lot of times our toughest competition was in practice every day from 2:30 to 4 o'clock. And it was just constant competition, and we respected each other and played for each other. And that's not real common a lot of times against very talented teams. But
sometimes not enough basketballs to go around.
Yeah. And what would happen is, like a while ago when I talked about people running the junk defense, Hensley may get 10 one night and Parrish and I get close to 30. And then, coaches talk and they make adjustments, and then I get double-teamed. And then it was just a constant sharing of the ball, sharing of points, whatever all that stuff was. But when you got really good players that play together, you're going to have that kind of balance.
Willock name goes way back here in Van Buren County and in Clinton. And your dad was on the 1953 state championship team. We honored them a few years ago. You were here.
Yeah.
Talk about that legacy. That was pretty cool that your father, then you, down 30 years later, were also playing for a state title.
Clinton is basketball. I know they've had some success in football. They've had some success in other sports as well. Not speaking anything negative to that. But Clinton has had a long-standing tradition of basketball. And when we were coming through it about this time, some of the people that were involved in that 53 team, my dad, Roy Dean Dempsey, some of these guys that live local, we would hear about that. And it was like, that's what you're supposed to do. But I'll tell you when basketball started here in Clinton was when Tracy Ward, Stanley Mathis, Bobby Crockett, Chris Johnson, when that crew came through in the early 80s. We were in about the 7th or 8th grade. And that's when that winning expectation started. And we were impressed by that. And it made an influence on us, and we just kind of rolled with that. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't give enough credit to that team that I just spoke about. They went to the regional. I think they may have tied for the conference that year with Greenbrier. Yep. And they really put Clinton basketball in a spotlight. And we just came by at a time when we had enough talent that we benefited from that. And I mean that in all sincerity. Chris and Tracy and Stanley and Bobby Crockett and those crews, they don't get enough credit for what has happened with that 83, 84, through that stretch.
I think maybe that's maybe Coach Cole Gardner night. He had you guys in the locker room, I believe, before the game. Maybe that same thing.
Yeah, I told him.
Handing off the torch to another group.
Right. Hey, I don't want to run into y'all's time, but I spoke to him. Kyle spoke to him. Mickey spoke to him for the game. And I told him, I said, you don't play for some Rudy Poot program. You play for the best. That says Clinton right across there. Yeah. You've set the bar high.
Hey, we're back to action in the second half. What do you think about the facilities here compared to old Walker Fieldhouse? The atmosphere is pretty good over there, though.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, we were talking earlier, I think we would have filled this place up back in the day. Just a phenomenal facility, second to none. It's something that this community is proud of. I know it's such a classy place. There's not a bad seat. And I would have liked to have had something like this back in the day. I'd like to know how many people we could get in here.
Hey, tell folks what you've done. You went to Texas Tech and had a great career with Gerald Myers.
Yep.
You had a long, successful coaching career.
Yep.
Took the Penguin Tigers to the state championship game
right.
one year, and then great career in education.
Yeah, well, went out there and played for Coach Myers and had a great experience and learned a lot of basketball. And when I got out of college, I got into coaching, and I coached 1 year in New Mexico and wanted to get back to Arkansas. I coached at Quitman for a couple of years and then went to Greers Ferry Westside, stayed there for about 8 or 9 years, and then coached at Painburn, got beat in the finals of the state tournament. That was a very good team I had, and then went to Nemo Vista for 5 years. Really loved it there, close to home. And for the last 9 years, I've been the high school principal at Clinton. And we've just had a phenomenal run with academics and athletics and all of our programs there. And it's just a blessing to be with the people that I work with. I've told many times I'm surrounded by people that do their job a lot better than I do. I'm smart enough to recognize that, and I'm going to let them shine and me just support them.
Well, all those successful things you had, the coaching, the teaching environment, probably started on these basketball floors right here in Clinton.
I'm going to tell you, back in the day on Sundays about 12:30 or 1 o'clock, there was a lot of people in the gym up here, and we played basketball all the time. And we've talked about that tonight with those guys. It's just phenomenal, the culture that we had. And, there's been a lot of successes come from Clinton. John Hargis, Olympic gold medalist, and several other people have gone on and had great athletic careers. I've been away from it a little bit, but I know that we've had student athletes that have gone on and ran track, played football.
Mickey Parrish's son.
Mickey Parrish's son at Harding was a phenomenal quarterback. We had a guy, Dan Doty, that played center for the Razorbacks several years ago. And, I think for a little community like this, we've represented and shown that a lot of good things have come from a very solid athletic program.
Yeah, great community. The community loves this school. They always have. Whatever support we need. And got a great booster club here tonight, and we love putting on these events.
Well, I really think it's important at times to bring back some of the teams and programs and people from years ago, just to remind these young people that it's not just this moment, but they're representing a long tradition of just outstanding success, successful people. And, they're representing this community that's always supported them.
Yeah, you're a successful team. A lot of your teammates, they're successful too. We've seen a couple of doctors there. And it just – athletics builds the character.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this too, Mike. I grew up with good people. I was a pretty good guy, but I benefited from the maturity and direction that Mickey and Kyle and Jamie, they held me accountable to be better as a person. And you're right, there's been a lot of successful people. I'd hate to sit here and have to name them all, but like you said, there's a couple of them that are doctors. Excuse me. Several that's in education. There's people that are business owners, supervisors, and probably they got a lot of that skill from, how they grew up here, the competition, the influence of the teachers, and just the wholesomeness of this community has benefited them in a lot of ways.
Well, we're sure glad we had you here tonight.
I love it.
Back in the Yellow Jacket Nation. You'll always be a Yellow Jacket, no matter
Well,
where you go.
You're right. I only live about 30 minutes from here. I don't get back to Clinton a whole lot, but when I do, it always brings back a lot of fond memories. And, it's just a great community. I'm proud of it. I always tell people I'm from Clinton, and I feel proud to say that.
People still talk about your high-flying dunks here, by the way.
Well,
when I ask people stuff, they say, man, he could dunk.
Oh, yeah, sometimes, might have tried to put a little bit too much with that. But, hey, my mom always told me, she said, if you can do it, it ain't bragging. And I probably took that a little bit too much at heart sometimes. But, hey, if you got any kind of talent, put it out there, see where it'll take you, and apologize later, I guess.
Yep. That's Scott Willock is with us, the 84 team. They brought a lot of, especially our older audience. We got a lot of folks that came and played. They're watching on TV and things now, and but they remember you guys playing, and that still brings back great memories for the community. So
that's right. But, again, I appreciate y'all having me, and looks like we got a good game going on right here.
Yeah, Yellow Jackets need a win tonight. We're in a 3-way tie for first with 4 games to go, so we need a win tonight. We had a loss last night to Harding Academy, so.
Well, I tell you what, I've been around Cole. I knew him since he was in about the 3rd grade. He would come to my basketball camp, and he's always been a quality person. I think he does a great job, and I feel like Clinton's got a good coach, and I hope the community supports that and, gets behind this team.
Camera. Hang on. We're going to take a picture right here. We got one of those. Jump in here, Jeff.
Come on, Jeff. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie. All right, that's Scott Willock of the 84 Final Four Yellow Jackets. Thanks, Scott. Yep. That's good.
And we are at the 4:40 mark of the 3rd quarter. Clinton has, pushed out that halftime lead. What was it, 24-20? It's now 29-23. It's a 6-point lead for Zach Alexander, Lathan Newland, Russ Hensley, Harrison Hall, Nathan Farmer. Harrison had a 3-pointer just a moment ago. That's going to be his, 3rd of the ball game. He's got 11 points to lead the Yellow Jackets. And now an offensive foul on Clinton. 2nd team foul here in the 2nd half, and that's the 3rd personal on Zach Alexander. Clinton and Riverview. Harrison Hall defending at midcourt. Clinton a 1-3-1. Is it a 1-3-1 zone defense? I think.
Yeah, pretty much zone all the way so far tonight for the Yellow Jackets. Great to visit with Scott Willock.
Still some of those guys down in the corner here tonight, enjoying their time on the drive in the lane. Shot up, won't go for the block, but it's a foul called, and going to be Nathan Farmer.
Goes here. It could be Farmer's 3rd.
At 2, was it 2 in the 1st quarter, maybe? And are they going to get Zach Alexander?
That will be his 3rd.
His 3rd. So looks like Blaine Emerton will re-enter the ball game. He's at the scorer's table, just in front of Jordan Benson. Looks like Miranda Widener and Brian Henderson also manning the scorer's table tonight.
McCall at the line. He's got 4 points. He was the leading scorer that night at Riverview.
Alexander out.
3, 4 for 5. 5 for 7 at the free throw line tonight. Make it 5 for 8 after that first one.
Blaine Emerton in. Shot won't go. Blaine with a rebound. 29-23, 3 minutes, 44 seconds. I think I see all the Beavers up there tonight. JV's wife, Carol, their daughter, Gracie.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Mr. and Miss Beavers up there.
That may be Sharon and James up there as well tonight. Don't know that we always get to see them here at Yellow Jacket Arena, but good to see them on the top row tonight, taking in the ball game. And they might could tell some stories. It would be fun if we could get some of those parents from those teams and talk about their travels and around and following those guys.
And I think James played in and around that 1953 team also. The parents they play a whole lot of part in the success of that basketball team.
Travel and a turnover for the Yellow Jackets back to Riverview. I saw Joe Tom and Tolly Willock are here tonight. They were visiting with some of the guys. They're still down there in the area as well.
Jackets kind of starting off cold here in the 3rd quarter, but also Riverview is too. This is Riverview coach Coleman, he was right. It's going to be a low-scoring game. It's 29-23. We're 3 minutes left in the third quarter. I feel the Jackets can make a little bit of a spurt here. Try to stretch this lead out.
Back on the offensive end of the floor, just below our broadcast position, seated here on the visiting side. Harrison Hall around a screen by Nathan Farmer. 2-point attempt won't go. And the rebound, Riverview has it. Russ will reach in, try to take it away. He'll be whistled for a foul. That's the team's fourth. That's his second personal. Still 29-23, a 6-point margin.
Have a good atmosphere in the first half. It's kind of quiet right now. Yellow Jackets maybe try to do something to get the crowd back into the ball game here. Pretty good crowd tonight. No girls game. Riverview's on quarantine in girls, so it's been a boys-only night here at the arena.
Bounce pass in the lane. Oh, boy, it looks pretty from here. We're a long way away from it, but Nathan Farmer blocks a shot. Official right there. He's going to be whistled for a foul, and that'll be his third personal. Free throws upcoming for Riverview. Coach Cole Gardner wants a timeout. We'll take it. You're listening to KHPQ in Clinton High School Sports.
You know, life here wouldn't be the same without a sense of community. This is a wonderful place to live. The home of the Chuck Wagon races, Greers Ferry Lake, and of course, Joe Lee Chevrolet. You know, Joe Lee Chevrolet is famous for fairness, honesty, and square dealing. Now for 4 generations. Sure, you can buy a new Chevrolet car, truck, any other place, but this isn't anywhere. This is home. They invite you to come on down to Joe Lee Chevrolet, where they have large rebates and incentives plus low interest rates. Joe Lee Chevrolet, Highway 65 South in Clinton.
The Blagg Law Firm is a proud supporter of Clinton High School Yellow Jacket sports. When you need an attorney, call the Blagg Law Firm. Whether it's an injury accident, criminal defense, DWI, family dispute, or Social Security disability, Ralph Blagg believes in equal justice for all. Located on Court Street in downtown Clinton and on the internet at blagglaw.com. The Blagg Law Firm, a proud supporter of Clinton High School sports.
Yellow Jackets' favor. They've led since the start of this one. Minute 59 to go in the third quarter. Second free throw upcoming for Riverview. It's up and in. 29-24 now. Raiders going to jump at a full court press. Looks like a man press. Down the floor, over the top, Russ Hensley on the baseline. Going to drive the lane. Shoot, score, and he's fouled. Russ Hensley, a chance at the traditional three-point play. 31-24.
Boy, Jackets needed that one bad. Tried some backcourt pressure, miscommunication by Riverview. Russ Hensley was wide open down here on the baseline. Took a couple of dribbles, got up, pulled up, shoot the 8-foot jumper, got fouled. And that'll be 3 fouls now on number 13 for Riverview, Taylor Rayson. Rayson had 6 points in the first half.
I see his dad, Kyle Hensley, up there in the bleachers. His mom, Dara, Kyle, off that 83-84 team that we've talked about tonight. I don't see the grandparents here tonight. Maybe Don and Danny Hensley are.
They're here. Well,
are they here?
Bogie and Mrs. Hester are here.
And Joyce.
Yeah, I'm sure Dana and Donnie are watching from home tonight. Wish they all were here.
They might have some stories to tell as well as parents off that screw.
Also, I mentioned, too, I think Coach Vining also may be watching from home now. He was not able to attend tonight. So if Coach Vining's watching, hope you enjoyed the ceremony.
Yeah. I mentioned his dad earlier. Kyle got to play for Coach Bill Vining at Ouachita Baptist University, and one of those Hall of Fame type coaches from Arkansas basketball.
Yeah, they played for Bill Vining, one of the legends, and then Jamie and Beavers and Mickey Parrish played for Don Dyer at UCA, also a Hall of Famer, another legend there at UCA, along, of course, with some guy named Scottie Pippen.
Talked about that a little bit during the break, during the while the ceremony was going on. Shot up, won't go. I think that was partially blocked by Farmer. And you got to say, there's got to be a foul there somewhere. Looks like the ball was kind of coming towards Harrison Hall, and then it got deflected. But I think there was Raider's momentum carried it into Harrison. So that's
the thing was
foul.
the two officials closest to the play didn't call it. It took the official over here by us to call it. That's why
we had the best angle. I don't know. 5 team fouls apiece.
The Jackets had a slow quarter, but if they can get a basket here, they could lead by 10, possibly 11.
32-24.
They've only scored 8 points in the quarter, but they held Riverview to 4.
Lathan Newton closely guarded out near the midcourt circle. He's going to, and there's a blocking foul on the Raiders. 6th team foul, so a non-shooting foul. 20 seconds. Clinton will inbound the ball near the end of the Yellow Jacket bench. Blaine Emerton looks to get it in. Gets to Russ Hensley. Blaine's going to make a move. Taking the back. Can't get the reverse layup to go. Farmer missed. Hensley gets it in. Russ Hensley, 34-24, 6 seconds. Raider basketball across midcourt, down the floor, into the lane, spin, shot. It won't go, and that'll do it. The Yellow Jackets finish the third quarter with a bang there. 34-24, biggest lead of the night. 8 minutes to go when we return. You're listening to KHPQ and Clinton High School Sports.
The Blagg Law Firm is a proud supporter of Clinton High School Yellow Jacket sports. When you need an attorney, call the Blagg Law Firm. Whether it's an injury accident, criminal defense, DWI, family dispute, or Social Security disability, Ralph Blagg believes in equal justice for all. Located on Court Street in downtown Clinton and on the internet at blagglaw.com. The Blagg Law Firm, a proud supporter of Clinton High School sports.
Wherever the river flows and however the game goes. The River Company is a proud sponsor of Clinton Yellow Jacket sports. Just like in sports, you want someone who has your back. The professional team at the River Company Insurance does just that. They'll work hard to find you the most coverage at the best possible price. Whether it's business, farm, ranch, personal, or automotive, the team at the River Company will get you exactly what you need. Sports is a team effort, so come join the team at the River, formerly S&P Insurance.
Here we go, 34-24. Good night offensively for Russ Hensley. Good night for Harrison Hall for the Yellow Jackets. And a 10-point lead in a low-scoring ball game as we enter the final quarter.
A big putback by Russ Hensley gives him 10 on the night. And the Jackets with a 10-point lead. They led by 11 once in the first half.
Okay.
And the Jackets continue in that 2-3 zone defense. Remember that Nathan Farmer has 3 fouls along with Zach Alexander.
And I think Emerton blocked the shot. It got loose. Now it's tipped around. Riverview gets it back.
Jackets moving well to the basketball. They're still hustling.
Long three-point attempt up just short off the front of the rim. Blaine Emerton with a rebound.
Definitely was a long one. That was probably 22 feet maybe on that one.
Took a minute off the clock here in the fourth quarter, so Clinton with the lead and the clock in their favor.
Yeah, the Jackets can be deliberate now, look for a good high percentage shot. If not, they can just keep the clock running with a 10-point lead.
Blaine's going to drive. Shot won't go. They let him go. He had plenty of room. He drove to about the free throw line or maybe a step just inside of it. Didn't get the shot to fall, but another 30 seconds have gone off the clock here in the fourth quarter, still with a 10-point lead. 6.5 to go. Long three-point attempt from the right side. It won't go. Russ Hensley with a rebound.
Riverview's first 2 shots in the quarter have been from long range.
Well, we talked about that earlier, kind of in hindsight after that game at Searcy. Thought Riverview pretty athletic, plays good defense. They can work the ball around. They can pass well. They can handle it well. But they didn't seem to really be that good of an offensive team as far as scoring. And the Clinton defense may have something to do with that tonight. But we're seeing that. They've only got 24 points in the ball game. And you think, if this pattern holds, unless something shakes it up, Lathan Newland on the drive, he's fouled. 2 free throws upcoming. Unless they can do something different, they're having problems putting points on the board. And you think a 10-point lead.
A good defense not by Clinton because Riverview scored 39 in that first game. They only have 24 right now. And McCall, their leading scorer, didn't play the last 6 minutes. He's still out there tonight. He's played every minute. and the Yellow Jackets have held them to 24 points. I think they scored 56 on Tuesday against Rosebud.
Lathan misses the first free throw. He'll have a second. Can't get it to go. Riverview with the rebound.
You definitely want to get those free throws.
Another couple of minutes off
close
the
them
clock.
out here.
Neither team has scored, but we're down under 6 minutes now to go. At this pace, again, if you're Clinton, you don't necessarily have to score. The Raiders aren't putting points on the board, but they'll work it around. Looks like they're trying to, again, they may be determined that their only chance is a deep, well, now they're going to drive. I start to say a deep shot. They will take it in. Shot won't go. Emberton with a rebound.
Good job by Farmer to challenge the shot without fouling. And Zach Alexander heads to the scores table, fixing to check back in. That'll give us a lift here.
At a travel on the offensive end and a turnover.
Russ Hensley gets a much-deserved break. He's played great tonight. He's got 10. We'll see him before this one's over. 5:13 left.
Again, 34-24. That's what we started the fourth quarter with. And now we're at 3 minutes off the clock. Only 5 minutes to go. So
I'd prefer scoring, but if Riverview's not going to score, I guess I can live with it.
the clock is in their favor for the Yellow Jackets at this pace.
There's Alexander
Tip
knocking
up
it
to
away.
Lathan Newland down the floor. Got a defender on him. Ball goes out of bounds, but there's a foul whistled on Riverview. And that'll be, 7+ fouls. Now 8, so it'll be a 1-on-1 opportunity for the senior, Lathan Newland.
Nathan 2 for 4 at the line. Russ Hensley after that breaks back in. Blaine Emberton checks out, gave us good minutes tonight.
And Lathan misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Rebound to Riverview.
We're kind of allowing Riverview to hang around here by missing our free throws.
Tripped up. Lathan Newland whistled for the foul. His second personal. And the team's 6th. So a non-shooting foul. Riverview will inbound it in front of their bench. 4.5 to go. Another 30 seconds gone by. Still no score in the fourth quarter, but that 10-point lead and the clock running. Riverview just seems to have very few options trying to score. They've taken a couple of threes. They've had one drive in the lane. They just don't really have a spot on the floor. They just really don't have a score.
Put a couple baskets in a row together. This game might be over. If the Jackets can.
Raiders will turn it over in front of their bench.
Review showing the
probably
2-2-1 press now for the first time.
They might need to try to, again, create a turnover and a basket on the break off a defensive steal. But Yellow Jackets get it across midcourt. We're under 4 minutes to play. Zach Alexander on the drive. He'll take it to the basket and score. Off the glass, 36-24. And I believe that's the biggest
Great
lead
shot
of the
by
ball
Alexander.
game.
The only way he was going to make that one was use his left hand to get it over the defender, and he did.
And two-pointer. Riverview answers, 36-26.
Neither team had scored the entire quarter. Now they scored 10 seconds apart.
And
Riverview takes a timeout, costs himself a breakaway layup.
$36-26. Let's go ahead and take a break. Back to the studio. You're listening to KHPQ in Clinton High School Sports.
You know, life here wouldn't be the same without a sense of community. This is a wonderful place to live. The home of the Chuck Wagon races, Greers Ferry Lake, and of course, Joe Lee Chevrolet. You know, Joe Lee Chevrolet is famous for fairness, honesty, and square dealing. Now for 4 generations. Sure, you can buy a new Chevrolet car, truck, any other place, but this isn't anywhere. This is home. They invite you to come on down to Joe Lee Chevrolet, where they have large rebates and incentives plus low interest rates. Joe Lee Chevrolet, Highway 65 South in Clinton.
we have partnered with Carti to bring world-class cancer treatment to Van Buren County.
Some chemos are between 1 to 2 hours to 8 hours. So when a patient is sick, diagnosed with a cancer, traveling to Little Rock, that's a pretty long day for sick people.
Back in the old days, you had to get on the interstate, go to Conway or go to Little Rock to get your chemo treatments. My mom, for a year and a half, was able to take them right here in Clinton, Arkansas. Big peace of mind for my mom.
Ozark Health, your community hospital.
10, and Riverview shot's no good. Picked up by the Yellow Jackets of backcourt pressure as Newland gets it across the timeline. Jackets lead 36-26. We got 3 minutes left in this one. And they've led from the opening moments of the game. But Riverview's been hanging around. Hensley down the baseline. He's fouled before he can get to the basket. And that'll be a 1-and-1 for Russ Hensley. The Jackets have missed 3 straight free throws with a 10-point lead. Got to hit these free throws and kind of stretch this one out. Hensley goes to the line where he's 3 for 3 tonight. Russ with 10 points on the night. He's had a good one in front of his dad's old buddies, the 84 Final Four Yellow Jackets.
He gets the first free throw. I don't know if it's too early or not. I think Russ Hensley's going to be the first Arkansas Bank and Trust player of the game.
I think it's trending that way, as they say.
I don't have the scorebook to check there. Is this going to be his season high, for points wise?
Very well could be. He's got 12 now. Not done yet. Jackets' biggest lead of the game at 12.
Shot inside. Farmer with the defensive rebound. 2 minutes, 45 seconds. 12-point lead. Yellow Jackets get it across.
Now you want to take care of the basketball. The clock is now your opponent more than Riverview is. You probably have enough points to win. Now you're playing the clock, and you're looking for easy, high-percentage shots from this point on, or free throws as Harrison Hall will head to the line.
I may see if I could get Tommy Reed's attention. I'd like to ask him about that 84 team. Have you asked him if he'd come up here?
He went in about 6 o'clock and visited with them as they were eating in the hospitality room. And, they remember Coach Reed and those great – in fact, that 84 team, they beat Greenbrier. That was the first time in 5 years Clinton had beat Greenbrier in 84. Both teams were undefeated, and there was a packed house that night at Greenbrier.
Harrison misses the free throws, but still a 12-point lead with 2:20 in the clock running here in the fourth quarter. 3-point basket by Riverview, 38-29.
Can't feel good yet because the Jackets are not hitting these free throws. They're allowing Riverview to stay within striking distance.
Wow, that's a hard one. So Lathan Newland's going to have his legs taken out from him a little bit. That wasn't necessarily intentional. I think a Raider just kind of going up to and kind of slid underneath him.
That should be 2. I think that's a 10th team foul on Riverview. That takes a little bit of pressure off these late game free throws, usually when you get a pair.
It's Lathan's grandfather we were just talking about, Tommy Reed, former coach at Greenbrier. He's watching his grandson.
Coach Reed was at Yellville, and that was the only loss the Yellow Jackets had that year at Yellville. They'd won 22 straight, and Yellville held the basketball and won by a score of 44-43. Yellow Jackets will take a timeout. They lead 38-29 with 2:06 left here in the ballgame. The Jackets have missed now 7 straight free throws. They still have a 9-point lead. They missed 7 free throws in a row. And they've held Riverview to 5 points here in the fourth quarter. Neither team scored until just under 4 minutes to go in the ball game. And the Yellow Jackets scored, and then 5 seconds later, Riverview scored. So now we're at 38-29. Big game. Jackets are tied for first with 4 games to play. They're tied with Harding Academy, who's playing Rosebud tonight, and they're also tied with Newport. Newport will be here Tuesday night at Yellow Jacket Arena. You want to be here Tuesday, that would be, to knock Newport out of first. The Yellow Jackets are in a 3-way tie with Harding and Newport, so they win tonight, play Newport Tuesday. We go to Ball Knob Wednesday, and then we go to Rosebud next Friday night. So the Yellow Jackets could win out. They're guaranteed at least a share of the conference championship. The Yellow Jackets have not won a conference championship since 2000 and 4 as Lathan Newland heads to the line.
That's just Coach Tommy Reed's grandson, Lathan Newland, is at the line. That one's going to pop off the rim, so we can't put this one away yet. A 9-point lead, 2 minutes remaining. And there's Lathan with a steal. It's going to drive, and they won't catch him. Oh, it won't go, but the follow by Zach Alexander. 40-29. Back to double figures.
Good hustle by Alexander to just in case. He was there for the tip-in, a big basket. Jackets back up by 11. Jackets missed 7 straight free throws, Coach, in the last couple of minutes.
We talked about how Lathan never quit. I don't know if he's gone out of the ball game tonight, if he subs out. His motor never stops, and he got the break down the floor. 2 points for Riverview in the lane, 40-31, but clock still running. Only a minute 20 to go. Riverview's going to have to get a steal or stop the clock. Harrison Hall with the ball in the backcourt. They're going to get close to it in second. Better there they go. They get it across. Newland to Hensley. And now the Yellow Jackets in the corners. Pass up to Hensley. He's behind the defense. He scores. He's fouled. A chance at a three-point play. Russ Hensley with 2 more. A chance for 3. The sophomore.
Russ with his varsity and season high. 14 points now for Russ Hensley. And he hits the line, and he's hit 5 for 5 tonight at the free throw line. Probably showing off for his dad's buddies tonight, Coach. The 84 team.
We talked about that Hensley bloodline. He's got 2 older ones who came through here. He's got 2 younger ones. We're going to be having Hensleys here for years to come, still with Hester and Holly waiting in the wings. Review loses the ball. Harrison Hall has it. 12-point lead, 52 seconds. Yellow Jackets look, they'll win this ball game. We'll have to see what the final margin is and how long it takes. Zach Alexander's fouled. Hey, let me bring in, we'll call this one for you. We won't step away from it. You're watching on video. We'll call as it's going, but I'm going to turn the mic over to Coach Tommy Reed here in just a moment. Coach Reed, I remember Coach Reed. He was the coach at Greenbrier back. I was on that team that came up just after the 84 team. I think I guess I was a 9th grader that year, so came up in senior high. We talked about earlier tonight, that 84 team was the first to beat the Greenbrier Panthers in 5 years. You say it's a rivalry, but I think when one team wins every year, I don't know that you can be considered a rival. Greenbrier, they were the basketball team in those days in the 2A North. They outgrew us. They're a 5A school now. Clinton's a 3A, but they were there. Coach Reed was their coach. Now he's got grandchildren here in the Clinton High School. I'm going to turn the mic over here to him in a second, see what he remembers about that 84 squad.
Yeah, talk about that 84 team,
Coach. That 84 team was one of the best in the state. You know, they didn't have a weak player anywhere. Kyle and Mickey, Jamie, Scott, and who was the 5th starter?
Randy Treese.
Randy Treese, sophomore, a 6'5" guard, what he was. And, you know, they didn't have a weak player. It was hard to guard, I'll tell you.
I was going to say, how tough was it to draw up a defense? I read 21 times the big 3 scored in double figures 21 times in the same game.
Yeah, I mean, you just couldn't play off of anybody. You know, you had to guard everybody, and boy, Zach.
Zach Alexander with a putback, and he gets fouled. The Yellow Jackets now with a 16-point lead, biggest lead of the night.
But it was real good. I was real proud to see those guys, and they was quick to remind me that they beat us twice in 84. And I told them I didn't remember that.
I was reading 80 when they won in 84. It was a packed house at your place early in the year, and the first time Clinton had beat Greenbrier in 5 years. So you had some great teams yourself with a guy by the name of Steve Weedor.
Yeah. Steve was right after that, and then his little brother Brian was in I think Brian was in 85, and we had a real good ball club then. Well, we're going to get this one, Mike.
Good bounce back for the kids after losing last night to Harding Academy to bounce back and win.
Certainly was. Cole did a good job getting them ready to come back and play. Proud of
the secret might have been he had that 84 team talking to him in the locker room before the game. That might have been the secret tonight.
Well, I was real thrilled that I saw him go down there to do that. That was great.
I think Scott Willock said that. I told him you don't play for just any team.
That's
you play
right.
for Clinton. And so maybe that helps.
That's great. So you betcha.
Yellow Jackets win here, 47-31. They stay in a 3-way tie for first with 3 games to play now. As we'll have Newport here Tuesday night, go to Ball Knob Wednesday, and then travel to Rosebud on Friday.
Tuesday night, Newport's one of the teams that we're tied with, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So it'll be a big ball game and a tough ball game. We was lucky to win over there.
Yeah, after we won over there, they've won 8 straight.
Wow.
Since then, they've regrouped, won 8 in a row. Subtracted a few players. I think it actually made them better. And so they'll be here Tuesday night. Very athletic.
Very athletic.
That was a game where we trailed by 11 points in the fourth quarter and came back to win that night in the cardiac kids.
Yeah, we pulled it out, and they helped us out a little bit that night, if I remember. But it's what, we took advantage of it, and that's what you had to do.
Yeah, great ball game tonight. The kids bounce back. Probably a good thing we have a lot of seniors, some leadership to step up after a tough loss last night.
Exactly.
And then bounce back to win. Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Beaver's here with the cookies, Dr. Beaver's wife. And by the way, they catered the hospitality. Those cookies are great. I had one earlier. So you never know who's going to stop by the booth here.
No, it's always nice when they got the cookies with them, too.
That's true. Well, we'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap it up. It's been a great night at the arena. The Yellow Jackets win. 84 team was here. It was a fun night for everybody. And thanks for joining us, Coach Reed. Once again, Clinton 47, Riverview 31. Stay with us for the post-game show on the Yellow Jacket Sports Network.
Friday night at the stadium is not the time to worry about your finances. Let First Arkansas Bank and Trust ease your mind with their mobile banking capabilities. You can check your balance, transfer funds between accounts, and even find the nearest ATM for dinner after a road game. The free mobile app is available on the iTunes Store and Android Market. You can cheer loud and proud for the Yellow Jackets because First Arkansas Bank and Trust has you covered. See a branch for more details. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The Blagg Law Firm is a proud supporter of Clinton High School Yellow Jacket sports. When you need an attorney, call the Blagg Law Firm. Whether it's an injury accident, criminal defense, DWI, family dispute, or Social Security disability, Ralph Blagg believes in equal justice for all. Located on Court Street in downtown Clinton and on the internet at blagglaw.com. The Blagg Law Firm, a proud supporter of Clinton High School sports.
Strong, dependable, ready for anything. The Clinton Yellow Jackets know what it takes to make a great team, and Grassroots Equipment is proud to support them. Take on the season with Massey Ferguson compact and utility tractors. They mow, load, handle hay, and more, all while delivering more of the power and versatility you've come to expect from Massey Ferguson. Experience the compact and utility tractors that will take you through the season strong at Grassroots Equipment.
The all-new Cowboy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Raymond Clinton is gearing up for football season. Yep, we've got a huge lineup of Rams that are sure to fit all of your tailgating needs. So put on that lucky jersey and score huge savings during the summer clearance event. Can't wait to see you at the all-new Cowboy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Raymond Clinton and at cowboycdjr.com.
Friday night at the stadium is not the time to worry about your finances. Let First Arkansas Bank and Trust ease your mind with their mobile banking capabilities. You can check your balance, transfer funds between accounts, and even find the nearest ATM for dinner after a road game. The free mobile app is available on the iTunes Store and Android Market. You can cheer loud and proud for the Yellow Jackets because First Arkansas Bank and Trust has you covered. See a branch for more details. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You know, life here wouldn't be the same without a sense of community. This is a wonderful place to live. The home of the Chuck Wagon Races, Greers Ferry Lake, and of course, Joe Lee Chevrolet. You know, Joe Lee Chevrolet is famous for fairness, honesty, and square dealing. Now for 4 generations. Sure, you can buy a new Chevrolet car, truck, any other place, but this isn't anywhere. This is home. They invite you to come on down to Joe Lee Chevrolet, where they have large rebates and incentives plus low interest rates. Joe Lee Chevrolet, Highway 65 South in Clinton.
At First Security, our team is proud to be only in Arkansas. In fact, we've been committed to our home state since 1932. Why does that matter? Banking with First Security means that you get friendly service from local professionals right where you live. Decisions are made here, and so are relationships. From personal banking to business to mortgage, First Security is here for you. First Security, only in Arkansas. FSBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
FL Davis Cash Lumber, your Ace Hardware store, is a proud sponsor of Clinton Yellow Jacket Sports. FL Davis Cash Lumber can help with your electrical, plumbing, paint, tools, hardware, and flooring needs. They're a full-service hardware store and lumber yard. FL Davis can provide you with everything you need for your residential or commercial projects. The knowledgeable staff is always on hand to answer your questions. Visit FL Davis Cash Lumber, your Ace Hardware store. Same place, now Ace.
Down at the floor of Yellow Jacket Arena, and again, the youngsters have taken over in the post-game basketball, and a couple of those guys have grown up a little bit. Brodie Friend, he's out there. He's a bit older now, along with Hester Hensley. I'm sure his sister Holly's out there somewhere. I already mentioned them tonight. We got a lot of Hensleys left to go, and I guess the tallest player out on the floor, we mentioned him earlier tonight, Cragen Bradley from the University of Central Arkansas Bears, in attendance tonight. His senior season a year ago here at Yellow Jacket. I just saw him hit a three-pointer from back there. If you were watching the Bears take on the University of Arkansas Razorbacks on ESPN earlier this season, Cragen, did he dribble out the ball there at the clock? It was a loss for UCA that night, but he was playing there. And, they don't always say that, but when they said him, it's Cragen Bradley from Clinton, Arkansas with the basketball. So we even got a call out, a shout out here to Clinton when Cragen Bradley was on the floor at the University of Arkansas on ESPN. So, I don't know. We might need to make sure how long it's been since we had a UCA Bear. Do you go from Mickey Parrish and Jamie Beavers to Cragen Bradley? But
1953, Judd Avey. Well, 1954.
Hey.
Judd Avey off the state championship team was all conference at UCA. I don't know, in between there.
Got a lot of good tradition. Well, hey, let's look down and we'll wrap up tonight's ball game quickly, looking at scoring for the Yellow Jackets. Individual scoring tonight. How about Blaine Emberton? Going to finish with 2 points for the Yellow Jackets, 7 for Lathan Newton, including 1 3-point field goal. You had 11 points for Harrison Hall. 3 of those were 3-point field goals. 12 points for Zach Alexander on the night. And the third player to go in double figures tonight, the leading scorer, and tonight's first Arkansas Bank and Trust player of the game. Again, we appreciate their title sponsorship again this season of the player of the game. Stop by their branch in the Northside Shopping Center across from Radio Shack, Good Cash Saver, and Pizza Hut, and see what they can do for you. Banking products and services. First Arkansas Bank and Trust tonight. It's the sophomore Russ Hensley leading the way with 14 points for the Yellow Jackets. He scored in the first quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. He had a 3-point field goal. He had 6 free throws made, and just a good offensive night for him on a team that, again, needs a little extra offensive help to step up here late in the season. And it's Russ Hensley that provides that tonight with those 14 points, and he's our first Arkansas Bank and Trust player of the game.
Yeah, huge game by Russ Hensley from beginning to end. You just see him gaining confidence every game, and he's now getting more and more minutes, and he's stepping up in 14 points tonight, and not just post plays, but driving to the basket, scoring, got fouled one time and scored. And so a great start by the sophomore tonight, and he finished up with 14 points, along with Zach Alexander's 12. The Yellow Jackets scored 47 points. That's what they got at Penguin, a 47-44 win. Tonight they got a 47-31 win. Great defense by the Yellow Jackets as they held Riverview 8 points less than the last time that those two teams played. Riverview got 5 points from Robert McCall. He was the leading scorer last time in double digits with 12. Only got 5 tonight. Taylor Racing ends up with 7. Caleb Giles had 13. 8 of those in the first half, 5 in the second half. And that's pretty much the scoring tonight for Riverview as they have a hard time against this Yellow Jacket defense tonight. And that's what's going to be down the stretch here. It's going to have to be great defense, rebounding, and shoot the ball well. Now it's for the Yellow Jackets to scratch out wins. And they are in first place in a 3-way tie with 3 games to go. We're off for the weekends. And Newport, one of those teams we're tied with, will be here Tuesday night. A game the Yellow Jackets trailed by 11 points. Came back to win in overtime that night over in Jackson County. We need a great crowd here. The girls will be playing too on Tuesday. We need a great crowd here Tuesday night because it's a huge game. It's the last regular season home game for the Yellow Jackets. Also on that Tuesday night at 5 o'clock, they've moved the junior district boys game from Monday to Tuesday because we're playing Newport. That game will start at 5 o'clock. That's a district tournament game at 5 for the junior boys, and then we'll roll right into the senior girls and senior boys. So Tuesday night is a big night here at Yellow Jacket Arena. Junior high district game for the boys, and then 2 big conference games for the Yellow Jackets, both the Lady Yellow Jackets and the Yellow Jackets. So have a good weekend. Rest up. We're going to need you next week. It's a 3-game week. The Yellow Jackets will travel to Ball Knob on Wednesday, and then both teams will finish the season, regular season, at Rosebud on Friday. That girls game on Friday could very well be for second place, so that's also a big game as we come down the stretch.
Tournament time is looming. District tournament ball games, hopefully a regional tournament, and then the 3A state tournament, which will take place here at Yellow Jacket Arena. Now you got to earn your way in, so we need both Clinton squads to advance and make it there through the district and region. But how fun would that to be if we could be here in Yellow Jacket Arena hosting the top teams in 3A basketball from around the state, and the Yellow Jackets right there in the mix with them, reminiscent of that 1984 team. And let's see if we could do it again here in 2021. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for my colleague in the Booster Club for putting all that together and putting together a lot of numbers from that time for the ceremony tonight for those guys. They had some programs made for the guys to take home with them. They've got a gift, kind of a pullover, athletic long sleeve for them to take with them. And what a fun night it's been. And it ends up with a win here. And hope you'll join us for the excitement next week in Yellow Jacket Arena. Well, for Kelsey Robinson, our studio engineer, for Ryan Jones, video engineer, for Huey Moran, the camera as well tonight. For my colleague, I'm Jeff Hall. You've been listening to KHPQ in Clinton High School Sports.